I mean, at least now we have a little piece of the truth. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Ashley and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And we are back this evening to talk about Monsieur Spade, episode 2, season 1. Y'all, let's get right into it. So we know that we are still reeling after the unalivings that took place at the convent, right? We know that last episode, Teresa ran in a frenzy to Sam's place, and we know what he found when he went back to investigate. So now it's the morning after. He's gone there. The town doctor has been there, and says basically that the nuns will now be sent to Paris for further examination. But he found this necklace on one of the new nuns. Also, we find out at this point that, I believe at this point, that the nuns had paperwork. There were 6 nuns there. Only 5 of them had paperwork. The locket that we find has a picture of a boy and what appears to be his mom. Okay. So now he's on the way back home. He talks to Helena, his staff. I believe she's the housekeeper. And he's like, where is Teresa? She says she's in the room. Spade goes in there and baby Teresa's gone. And it's like, where did she go? So at this point, I mean, Spade is really out of retirement. The police there, Patrice, is like, Spade, you need a gun. There's a madman on the loose. Just take care of yourself. Next, we see Jean-Pierre and Marguerite, and he's having a nightmare, clearly about the war. Clearly, he has some PTSD because I believe he was on the wrong side of everything, if my memory serves me correctly. And they're kind of commiserating about their marriage and what went wrong. And we know that Jean-Pierre is a little obsessive and a little out of sorts because of what he thinks he's owed from Gabrielle, now Sam, because she's gone. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Spade now goes looking for Teresa. On his way out, he bumps into George, and we know George is the artiste, but I got my eye on George. I got my eye on George. I got my eye on the dude from the field that we saw first season. Y'all drop it below if there's something suspect about George, the artiste. Cause anyway, he said he saw her at dawn, and he reflects on the color of the sky and the moon and the stars. And Spade is like, bruh, I just need to know what direction she went. So he goes back to the convent, Spade does, and he's looking for her. He goes through all of the dorms, and we see that the kids have all been moved to another convent, and that the groundskeeper is cleaning up the mess, right? And he's just, can't really fathom what's happened. And so now we know Spade has his spidey senses on. He's watching everything, like what's really good. So he ventures out and he finds her. I don't know what it was, if it was like a barn or whatever, but he finds her in the rafters smoking a cigarette. And she's like, well, I'll wait here for my dad, Philippe. And he's like, baby, your daddy not coming. Okay, he not coming. So she finally meets him out of the car, and they're on the way home, honey. And again, they're using Gabrielle's car because she didn't slash the tires on his car. But anyway, they're driving home, and as soon as we know anything, there is a gunshot through the back window. And he's like, Teresa, get down. Spade being Spade, calling on Humphrey Bogart or whatever, backs that thing up, okay? And he's gonna find out who did it. But as he's backing up, the guy on the motorcycle speeds by and shoots again, but he misses. And so Spade's mind is like, okay, we were too close. He intentionally missed the first time, and the second time it was self-defense because I rode back on him. So it's not what it appears. And like he said, if it was Philippe, he wouldn't have taken the shot because Teresa was in the car, right? So we have that. And anyway, next we have Patrice, Teresa, and Spade. So Patrice comes to kind of investigate the shooting in the car, and he's like, and that's when Spade gives his whole breakdown. Teresa hands him, I guess, her bloody clothes, and he wants the information. He starts having questions, and she's like, let me get a lawyer, not without a lawyer. And apparently she learned that from her mama, because we know Bridget was a criminal, okay? Next we see Patrice, and he's kind of in the office by himself going through old pictures, and I was like, oh Lord, is he corrupt? what is the deal with that? And he's actually going over pictures of him and Mother Superior, because apparently during the war, they were some kind of freedom fighting team, okay? They were putting in work, taking out people who apparently took out people that they loved. And again, it was all in the effort to get through the war, right? And to make things right and to fight for good. And so they flash back to a conversation where I believe it's after the war. Spade is just new in town. And he's like, Spade could be the answer to all our questions. You know, he can take old boy out. And she's like, he's not going to do that. He came here with an assignment and we're not going to do it either. She's like, you know, after all of the war stuff was done, Mother Superior felt like God tapped her on the shoulder and was like, follow me. And from that day on, she was blessed and she did good in the world. It was no longer about revenge or vengeance or a war. It was really about following and serving the Lord. And that's how she lived her life. And Patrice, we know Patrice, he said, listen, I still want to take him out for everything that was done. Okay. And so as he's reminiscing, he's deep in thought, the ministry from Paris comes and is like, we're taking over the case. Give us the bodies, give us all the evidence you have. We're taking over. And Patrice is like, not today. That's not what's going to happen today. And baby, when I tell you, Patrice said, okay, I'll send him back a message. You'll be all jacked up, beat up. And the man's like, well, I'll have you dismissed. And then Patrice's, I think it's Patrice's brother, but also the other detective or police officer there comes out with the gun. And he's like, and the dude from Paris is like, I'll be back. I'll be back from the Sorbonne. Okay. And so he leaves, but clearly Patrice is hurting, grieving. Mother Superior and he were close friends and he wants to solve this crime. So really it's going to be between him and Spade, I think, doing the detective work, and Paris will be back. Okay. Cause they're not going to let this ride. They're just not. Next we see Henry and Spade, and we know Henry is somebody's nephew, but he's in the military, and he has access to people's files. And so before last episode, Spade had asked him to check in on, Philippe's information. So we find out that he's special intelligence. And Spade's like, I guess special ain't special that much anymore. They take everybody they can get. And he's like, you know, sorry, I couldn't do more, but I got busy with the girl on the desk. And he's like, okay, man. And then he kind of confesses, you know, Spade, you're my hero. I look up to you. Spade's like, baby, find another one. Find a better hero. So now we have the new nun. And again, this is the 6th nun who didn't have any paperwork, had the locket, and she's African. Okay. And they make that clear in it. And also, we'll find out later. And so the truth finally comes out. So Teresa sits down with Sam, and Sam basically gets the truth out of her. And she says what happened that night. And basically Teresa saw everything. She saw it all go down. She saw the crazy monk go in and basically execute all these nuns because he was looking for this little boy. Apparently the same little boy that's in the locket. Okay. And so he's making his way. Where's the boy? Where's the boy? They're not giving anything up. Teresa's actually got the little boy hidden. Okay. And she gets in there and she can't stop watching. She said, I tried to close my eyes. I tried to run away. I couldn't. I watched everything. And so she basically watches all of these people get massacred, and then he gets her, right? But Teresa got a knife, honey. And so she didn't give any information, but she stuck him. And she stuck him good, honey. And she went back to try to find the boy. The boy was gone. The final scene, we are in Marguerite's place, and a man named Samir, who apparently does some odd jobs for her, is there. And he is like, okay. And she's like, well, if there's any more work, if you want to do it, you and your brother, y'all can come back. And there's plenty, you know, for you. And she cashes him out. Well, as she's walking out, he hears the kind of hangers in the coat closet go off. So he goes and looks, and it's the same little boy, but holding a gun, pointing it at him. Y'all, I don't know. And then the other thing is that one of the nuns, the last nun, the nun who I believe is the little boy's mother, says she was coming to see the Mahdi. Who is the Mahdi, y'all? Who is the Mahdi? Y'all, this is a really good twisty turny mystery. If you're not watching it, it airs every Sunday night, 9 p.m. on AMC or Acorn TV. Honey, because get your free trial if you don't have AMC. And drop it in the comments below. What are you thinking of it if you're watching it? As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video.